Of course, what is going on to all of my fine freaks and geeks out there? It is me, Quita, aka Malaysian Quita, and welcome back once again to Sin TV Now, where I bring you smart, intelligent news, Asian pop culture or Asian culture, and I also bring you affordable adult coloring news and techniques. So I know that's a mouthful, but I just decided to add the adult coloring component to Sin TV Now. I just felt that it was a good fit because so many of you have been enjoying these colorings that I've been doing, and I am just having so much fun. It's just a great way for me to relax. But besides the point today, I am going to be going over my technique for blending Sharpies. And I also have an update on these. Remember these from yesterday, right? These were the Tanmit 60 color dual felt tip markers. So I got an update in regards to that. But let's get coloring. Of course, I am coloring in this book that is called Mandala Meditation. Really great book. I've really been enjoying this greatly. So this is what I do for Sharpies, because this was so this is how I started. This was like the first mistake that I did was I would, like, let's say for example this area here, I would go in and I'm using the Sharpie. This is a Sharpie fine point. So it's a little bit bigger, but if you take your time, you can use it for smaller spaces. So I would kind of do this, like trying to kind of blend it together. So I'm just kind of going in like a little, let's say a little area like that. And then what I would do is I would go in with, this is, as you can see, this is a yellow, I gotta get used to shooting this way, but this is a yellow Sharpie fine point. So I'll show you why they call it fine point. Here is the fine point right there. So I would just go in to this section and just kind of push the color down. And see, this is not the way that you want, you want to do it, unless that is the effect that you're going for. And then I'm just kind of playing around with a little bit of texture, and I would just kind of pull the orange. So that's what you're doing. You want to leave open spaces so that way you can pull in this orange color, and then you start to gently, but see, you have to blending is something you want to take your time and you want to be gentle with. But how about you're saying to yourself, you know what, Quita, I don't have all this time to be blending and stuff. Like, this is kind of preposterous, spending all this time like blending. I don't like the look of that. Okay, so this is what I learned, and I was really happy because I didn't think you could do these with Sharpies. I always thought you could do it with of course, like water-based markers. So all you do is you get something like this. I got this tray from Amazon, or you can just get like a small cup. It has to be something like a plastic or like I would say like glass or porcelain. So this is what you do. So you get your little tray here, and the first thing you want to do is go in with your darker color first and let the light color pick it up. So we're going to use this tray here. And you always want to make sure that you have some type of cleaning cloth with you. And I just have this kind of used bottle here. So you always want to have something like that to kind of spray and clean with. So this is how I mix to get this really kind of nice gradient kind of color. So I just take, all I'm doing is rubbing it back and forth. My orange Sharpie. And this is the same method. See, I didn't know how to use these Tanmit. I'm going to show you how to use the Tanmit too today. I've learned so much, man. And I just rub it back and forth a couple times so you can see this here. Until it's on there. And then I just put this aside and watch what happens. So I was just coloring in this section, right? And look at this. The orange and yellow are blending together. That's all you do to blend Sharpies. Let's try this again. And here's a cool thing. You can rub this and use it until it gets really dry. Then, you know, you may have to reapply it. But you're just going back in. And it creates this same, like, similar effect to these, like, Tom Brown kind of markers. Now, it may not have the same, like, smoothness. And the cool thing about this too is the longer that you apply the secondary dark ink, that's the more that it's going to stay on the Sharpie itself. So I would recommend doing this with a dark and light color. That seems to be just from the method that I've been doing so far. And then as you can see, it goes right back. It just goes right back to that yellow. It's like a little deeper yellow kind of color. But you can blend that orange into the yellow. And it gives you this really nice... So you don't necessarily have to buy like the really expensive kind of blending markers. You know, because one thing I've kind of been learning as I've been going through this adult colorism process is you don't necessarily have... It's not about how much you spend on your materials. It's about the technique. So if you get the technique down, then you're much better off. And then what I'm doing too is I'm kind of, if you can see what I'm doing here, of course you can. I'm just dragging and pulling that color to make this kind of nice, like, golden color. So that's how I'm doing that. And I'm kind of just playing around with the texture. So yeah, that's pretty much my my technique. That's all that I do to kind of blend and to get this really, I mean, look at this gradient. Oh, it's so lovely. And then you can still just go back. And the more you do it, that's the more it's going to stay on. And the other thing I noticed too is the drier it is, that's the less of the orange it's going to pick up too. So you want to play around with this and see, and that's all I'm doing is I'm just taking that, pulling the orange into the yellow here, Sharpie. And that's the other thing that's cool about coloring too, is that you don't have to color in the lines. You just, coloring is about, like I always say, it's about having fun and then also working on your technique. Because sometimes for me, I just color to color. Like, I don't just, I don't necessarily want to be very particular about my patterns and what I'm doing. I just color to color. So I'm just kind of working on getting that texture out. But I just wanted for it to look a little more aged, a little bit more older. And I'm just kind of playing around here with this orange. I kind of want to, move it around a little bit. This is the part that takes the longest, is the blending part here. But yeah, I just learned how to do this today, and I was so flippin' happy. And then I also regret it because I bought these markers and I didn't know, I didn't know how to use them. But now I know. So that's all. We'll do it one more time so that you kind of understand what I did. So you go in, color a couple times, and you want to do this quickly as you can so that it's still kind of vibrant. And then you just go in. And that time I didn't pick up enough, so let's go back. Just go a couple times. And now, there we go. Now it's a lot darker. But you get that gradient effect. And then, like always, just take the time and pull that color in. But I am excited to see so what ended up happening was I went and got some more supplies, and I ended up getting a second toolbox that tells you how many supplies I have. I ended up getting a second one, and it consists of the following. So my first toolbox is going to be my color pencils and my Sharpies and markers. My second box is just going to be paint stuff. So my oil paints, my watercolor paints, and my acrylics, and even my watercolor palettes. Now the next thing I'm going to be working on is better storage for my adult coloring books. But that'll be in the future. So yeah, that's how I learned how to do this. If you only have one yellow marker, I'm going to tell you it is going to get a little dirty. So as you can see, mine is, it's dirty, but that's what, it comes with the territory. So we're just going in, pulling that orange yellow color, while at the same time we are darkening certain areas here. Still I know this one is going to take me a while just because it's a mandala. Oh, and guess what too? I also got some Gamsol. Gamsol seems to be one of the methods to blend. It's like a blending solvent. Now with Gamsol, you still have to be, you know, well ventilated place, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Going to give it a shot, see how it goes, and then I'm just gonna use the rest here to kind of. Oh, there we go. We still got some orange here. Okay. Okay, so I'll go on this side with it. And this is the reason why I like using Sharpies, because as you can see with the Sharpie, I'm getting that full pigmentation of color, like right away. It just, and it blends so well. It's just a really nice way to, yeah, as you can see there, you know, I'm playing around with like the different like gradations, that kind of thing. Just gonna touch this up a little bit. But yeah, that's what I discovered today, and I was just like, oh man, I didn't have to buy any more markers. I just could have just, you know, done this method and it would have given me the same result. So I ended up getting some more Sharpies, just so I have a plain yellow. And then this is going to be my blender yellow. So that's what I would recommend, is having two of the color that you're going to be using. So this acts as like a blending marker, but you know, it's pretty cool. Alright, so let's turn this around. It's like very yellow on this side, so let's go back. And then we're pulling, that's all we're doing, so I can show you. Just, you put that color on top, you go over a couple times with it. As you can see, it's getting dry. And then you just color it in. So it works out really, really well. So if you're looking for like a cheap alternative to blend, that's what I would recommend. Just get yourself a plastic paint tray or like a condiment cup or something like that. And then you just have something to clean it off if you're kind of going between different colors. And that's all you really need. See, I'm trying to make adult coloring affordable again. Because one thing I've been kind of learning as I'm going through this journey is that adult coloring can get expensive. Some of the best places too to do, like, to get books, like when you're first starting off, is like the dollar store. I'm gonna actually go to the dollar store hopefully on my day off, and I will definitely be posting pictures of what I find, because what I'm noticing is a lot of colorists out there, they are finding some just amazing, like absolutely amazing books. Like decent quality, the paper is nice kind of books. So, alright, let me pull this orange and yellow. Now, as you can see, I'm still pulling. It's kind of... So I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to use a marker, because this would be a lot easier if I had like colored pencil. I did get some Gamsol, like I was saying earlier, so that way I can try it and see if it's easier to blend with Gamsol. But these are the main books that I'm going to be focusing on. So for Sin TV Now, it's going to be the Mandala book. For the Kirby Metalhead show, it's going to be tattoos. And guys, I cannot wait to show you the coloring books that I got for the Kirby Metalhead show. And the ones that I got for Sin TV Now too. They are absolutely wonderful. And I even stepped out of my comfort zone. I know, right? I just color like mandalas and patterns. So, I mean, if I want to call myself, you know, a well-rounded colorist, then I should be able to color all sorts of things. So, this is what I did. To challenge myself, today, I actually went and got, well, it should be coming hopefully within the next couple days. But I actually went and I got what is called a grayscale book. Now, grayscale is really, it's really good to do grayscale coloring books, because not only does it challenge you, but it also helps you to learn about the placement of like lights and shadows and things like that. So now I'm gonna try cleaning this up. So all I'm going to do is I just spray, you know, just spray some, there's a couple sprays of water in here. This works a little bit easier with like watercolor. So yeah, and see, this is not going anywhere. So I'll be right back. I'm actually going to get some like nail polish remover, and I'm going to try that and see. I just got some nail polish remover here. This is from Swan, and I got this from Dollar Tree. So we're gonna try this and see what happens. Okay. Let's see if this removes the marker. Yep. Okay. So as you can see, it does clean it. Yeah, it does clean it off. Make sure you're not wearing, you know, nail polish that you really, really want when you're doing this. So if you want to get a little fresh start. So as you can see, it did clean it off. So if you're using Sharpies, you want to remove the color to the best way that you can. Then you want to use maybe some nail polish remover or some type of permanent marker remover. So I did that, and we'll let that dry. Okay, so let me get... Alright, I gotta get a couple sheets of paper here, and I'm gonna let this dry for a moment. And we're gonna go over to a couple of things here when blending with Sharpies. And also, I'm giving you the update right now on these Tanmit. Once again, these are the Tanmit 60 dual tip markers. Remember, I got these yesterday from Amazon. So, my first mistake was to treat these like the Tom Brow markers, which, by the way, guys, I actually did get some. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's say you want to blend these two together. So this is orange and purple. So the mistake that I did was like I was touching the tips. These don't work that way. So what you do is you use your tray, and we'll use a different area. And these are water-based. So we got that. And let's pick up the orange. Okay. So we move this out of the way. Okay, so like I'll do like a line. Do you see the gradation now? And this will keep going until it's clean. Because these kind of clean themselves in a way. Or they call them like self-cleaning. So we'll try this again. This time I will spell out my name. So, as you can see, this part is clean. So, you can see that. It's pretty cool. So, that's how you use these markers. So, for me, they work really well. Okay, so I'll do another, like, kind of flip it around. So that's how you use these Tanmit markers. So they actually work really well. If you use this method of just taking the darker color, putting on a tray, and you just kind of go a couple times till it's on the lighter color, and you can get all these really kind of cool effects. And this will be, I think these markers will definitely come in handy when I'm doing like my grayscale. Because I actually got a grayscale coloring book to learn the lights and the shadows. So, it's pretty cool. Now, let's try an experiment here and see if these are effective on the fine liner side. So, this is the fine liner. Let me come back here. Alright, let me come over here so you guys can see. I know it's kind of hard to see. I will be getting a better camera someday. But yeah, it's just a really nice kind of... Yeah, there we go. It's just a really nice fine tip. So let's see if this also applies. So we're going to take... I know this is not going to be much because it's a fine liner. And let me get the cap because you always want to cap these. Now, with these Tanmit... Just like any kind of calligraphy type pen, you always want to be careful when you're putting the tip on. So I'll show you how I put the tip on here. You want to make sure you just take your time, cap it, and you're good to go. Once you hear that click, then you're good to go. Okay, so... Actually, I did this wrong. Okay, so let's try... So yeah, it does the same. So we got the purple. And let's see if this will pick up. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So yeah, that seems to be picking up. Alright, let's try it. Now, it doesn't, that technique, it doesn't seem to work with the, oh no, it does a little bit, just a little bit, because this side is more for, like, details, so I wouldn't use the fine liner side in the same method, like with the brush. It works perfectly. Works perfectly. Works well. So, let me make sure I kind of... So you can see it's clean. So that's the way you use these. Once again, they are called Tanmit. So I'll show you once again. So yeah, these are the Tanmit. So you got one side that this is the come over here. This is the brush side. There we go. And then you have the other side, which is the fine liner side. I'll get used to this eventually. There's the fine liner side. So it's just a little nub. But you want to make sure these are well closed. So when you hear that clicking sound, that means... But yeah, these are really nice, man. I was really impressed with these. Like, now you can see the color pigmentation. I was very impressed. So now that I have these, and then I have... I think I have 10 of those Tom Brow markers too. And then I'm getting some watercolors, and I can't wait for the coloring books to show you the ones that I got. They are fabulous. So, very excited. And also, I have been having so much fun sharing and showing off the colorings that I've been doing. So many of you, like, freaks and geeks really like it. You're like, oh, you're amazing. And I'm like, really? I'm amazing? Thank you. But yeah, as you can see, and it dries really quick too. So, and then for this one, since it's water-based, this is all you have to do. You just spray once in there, and it turns into like a watercolor kind of. So then if you have, let me see if this works. Since these are water-based, so I'm just going in with my E-Boot number 2. Yeah, they are watercolor now. See, I didn't know how to use these before, so they do have that watercolor kind of feel. Since they're water soluble, you can use them as like watercolors like that. Now, I did put a lot of water, so it is very soft. So these would be great for like making a nice kind of background. So as you can see, you can use them as watercolor, and look how beautiful, just soft and really nice. So yeah, very impressed with these. So Tanmit, I kind of changed my decision. The brush tip side is fabulous. It's just the fine tip side I've been kind of trying to learn how to do. And since these are water-based, they're right nice and clean. So you can still see with the Sharpie, I had to use pretty much nail polish remover or alcohol to get these, to get that area kind of clean. And it's a little stained because, of course, it's permanent marker. But yeah, I just wanted to show you freaks and geeks that. I mean, these markers from Tanmit, they're pretty good. I mean, look at the quality. I was very impressed with them, especially if you're a beginner. You know, if you're someone that's more advanced, then you're going to get some of the more advanced stuff. But for me, what I'm going to be trying to do with this affordable adult coloring segment of the show is to show that you don't necessarily have to have expensive art supplies to do art. Like, you can use anything you want to use. And yeah, I mean, I am very impressed with this. This came out, the color payoff and everything. Look at that. Look at the gradation. I love that gradient. So I'm going to have so much fun coloring things in. Now for the grayscales, I'm going to be using colored pencil and the Gamsol and blending that out to see, you know, the different effects. And then I also, this is going to probably be my final purchase for the year. I've got to get some Copic markers because I have seen some of the work in some of the adult coloring groups that I'm in. Copic markers and Gamsol, such a smooth application. I was really impressed with that. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that. Like, I was really just really impressed. Also, if you're looking for a cheaper alternative too for blending, I'll show you this real quick too. Let me flip this over here. And always make sure you have extra sheets of paper so that when you're working on your piece, it doesn't like bleed through. But markers will bleed though. They will. It's a marker. So I found these washable markers, and this is the Up and Up brand from Target. And I wanted to show you the same method. So, and I'm just trying to, you know, if you use expensive stuff, that's fine. But I just feel like not everybody can do that, you know? So we're going to go right back in. And I'm liking using more water-based products because it's just easier to blend. But you can use the Sharpies as well. And then we're going to go right in, same method. And watch. Does the same thing. I didn't pick up enough orange this time, so I'm going to pick up a huge amount. Okay, let's try it now. There we go. And it just keeps going. Alright, I'm going to try... So I spelled my name there. And it goes right back to being yellow again. Now I still have a little bit of orange left on there. Now if you're concerned about your markers like getting messy and stuff, it may stain it, but I mean look at that. You got those nice, and that's the same kind of golden color that I'm going for in this piece. Like you can see that same golden kind of color. So it's wonderful. So I highly recommend you try both of these methods. And these are really cheap too from Target. These are the Up and Up. These are like the thin watercolor, or not watercolor, but thin washable markers. They come in all different colors. I'm going to be using them today. Oh, there we go. Caught that. But those are the three here, and that's how they look like. So really nice. So very inexpensive. Like you don't always have to go and get the expensive stuff right away. Actually, I don't recommend that. If you are new to adult coloring, you want to make sure that you get inexpensive stuff first, or as they call it in the community, student grade stuff. So if you're like an art student, for example, you can get student grade stuff that's not really expensive as the stuff that the professional artists use. But hey, let's continue here. I'm gonna cover this up, and we will keep going here. So now let's see here. Oh yeah, here's my blending tray. So now what I'm gonna do, just as an experiment, I'm gonna use the water soluble to see the difference, if there's gonna be a difference in quality here. So we're gonna go in with that same deep red color. And then we're gonna pick it up with the yellow marker. Makes this kind of nice, kind of marigold, like a sunset. And then we're gonna go right in here. And I am gonna be doing separate reviews on all of these products that I'm mentioning and showing today. So do not worry. It's just, it takes me a week, just because it does take me some time. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And look how well blended, because it's water-based. I'm not even trying to blend. This is gorgeous. Much easier blending than my Sharpies for sure. So this is the side. Of course, this is the side with the Sharpies. So I will say these markers from Up and Up, that's the section right here. Almost similar vibrancy. I mean, of course, on camera it looks pretty much the same, but then you can tell what areas here are a little bit deeper. But oh my gosh, this is wonderful. I feel like I'm painting with like a watercolor. I'm just gonna go. Just working on this here. Let's get this. And one thing you'll learn too as you go along your coloring journey is that coloring takes time. Like, you gotta give yourself time to, you know, you have to make the time to color. Because you can tell when you're rushing your coloring versus when you take the time. Now this is... Yeah, this, I have to be careful with these markers sometimes because they like to peel on the paper there. So I gotta be a little more gentle. But yeah, as you can see, blending colors together just came a whole lot heck easier. Now, I will say in regards to vibrancy, the Sharpies to me have a lot bolder kind of pigmentation because you can see that. Like, you can see it. Like, this is the section I did with Sharpies versus this is the section I'm working on now that I did with the Up and Up. So it's a little bit more, or this side, pardon me. This side is the Up and Up. This side is my Sharpie. And it's a little bit more muted. So it's really nice, man. Like, I'm really happy with these results. And since this is water-based, I can go in like multiple times versus the Sharpie, you have to do it right away because the Sharpies, you know, they dry, so you don't have that much time, so you have to be kind of quick with it versus when you're using, you know, watercolor, you know, brush pens or, you know, water based markers, you have a little more flexibility in regards to the blending process and just makes it a lot easier. But I was so mad because my watercolors were supposed to come in today, but then for some reason there was like a delay. So because of that delay, I had to, I won't be getting my art supplies until tomorrow. So I was so, man, when I tell you, when I saw that at work today, I was so pissed. I was, whew, really pissed. So as you can see here, this is coming around really, really well. Like, I am really loving this like method that I'm doing, and you can always use this too to go back in and shade. So now you can focus and like shade and highlight certain areas now. This is wonderful. Like, I am really like really enjoying myself. Just pulling the color from the other area as well. And that's another tip of the day. So an adult coloring for us freaks and geeks, of course. Tip of the day: join a adult coloring community, or even go to like whether it's an organization or read magazines, because being involved with the community and being a part of it, not only does it help you to relate to people who have the same passion for coloring as you do, what it does too is it helps things such as improving your technique, and also it helps you to learn more about, you know, the different types of art supplies you can use, and friendships. Like, it's been amazing. It's been like, what, like 3 days since I've joined a couple of these adult coloring groups that I'm in, and I'm already making friends. I know. I said friend, right? And like, I was so like, you know, I would always be sad and stuff, and I'm like, when am I going to like meet people who like get me, right? And now finally I'm like, yes. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Finally, I am meeting people that I have like common interests with, and you know, they respect the coloring that I do and the work that I do. And look, coloring is not only for young people or people who are professional artists. Coloring is for anybody who is interested. And you know what? I'm here to make it more affordable, period. Because like, coloring can get really expensive. I mean, yeah, you have the fiber castels, and you have Copic markers, and I'm still learning myself too. So you're gonna be learning with me on this coloring journey. But as you can see, we finished another section. Yay! This is looking really fierce. Okay, and I'm gonna take this with me because I actually do color. It's really funny. I actually do color when I'm at work too. And it's always interesting the looks that like people give you. I always take a sheet of paper, since I'm dealing with a water product, to cover it, to let it dry and everything. So I want to try this out. Since this is water soluble, right? It's a water product. Let's see. Yeah, you can do watercolor paint with this. I mean, it's not as, you know, pigmented as a Sakura kind of koi type of paint. But if you're looking for a cheap alternative, you can turn your markers into a watercolor and use it like so. So I definitely will be using that. I mean, look at that. And it's like similar consistency to a watercolor. So, and I mean, all these things I'm talking about are nothing new, you know. It's common sense that I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, this is awesome. And then you see me, I'm just kind of playing around here. Just coloring and stuff. Oh, I could do this all day, but unfortunately, I can't do it all day because I have to work and do other things, of course. But yeah, so there we go. So I wanted to show you that, and we're not even done with this. Look how much I still got a long way to go, but it'll get there. But yeah, you don't necessarily have to use expensive stuff. So you know what? Let's conclude today's episode with something I always like to do. I think I'm gonna be coloring pretty much for the rest of this week, just because it's like I'm just in this mode, maybe because it's like I've worked extremely long hours and I'm extremely tired. I just don't feel like playing video games, man. So coming up the following day, because I do my episodes pretty much like every other day now. Coming up the following day, we'll get back into some news and some stuff. So I'll be like coloring and, you know, talking about the news. So I call that, you know, coloring the news, where I color and talk about the news. So we'll be doing that, but let me leave you with some food for thought, something to think about, okay? So today I showed you this really, you know, awesome technique that you can use with Sharpies to get some really unique kind of gradation colors like such. And I was kind of talking about this throughout today's episode. Like, for some reason, I don't know, sometimes elitism, it's not always good, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with being proud of the materials that you use, but not everybody can afford those high-end things. Now, you know, you can be blessed and you can always find things like on sale and stuff like that, but that's still not the reality for some people. So we have to recognize in the adult coloring community that it's not about the colored pencils that you use. It is all about, does it make you feel happy? Number one. Do you enjoy, you know, do you enjoy doing it, which is the same as number one. But the next thing is your technique, you know. Are you getting better and better every time? Because I can tell you from when I first started up till now, this looks amazing. And and coloring is something where it's always a work in progress. So and then the last thing I want to leave you with too is like what I said earlier. It's not about the expensive stuff. If you can get it, that's great. If you can get it on sale, that's also a double bonus. But you can use affordable materials to save yourself some money. I mean, look, I went to Target and I got a whole set. I think I got like 30 something markers, and it was so cheap. I got these, you know, these Sharpies. These Sharpie pens, you know, very, very affordable. And I even got some more of these Sharpie ultra fine points. And I think I paid like $9. And I mean, look at the quality. And this is $9. So it's all about technique and what you feel comfortable using. One thing that I'm not comfortable with yet is watercolor. I'm still learning how to blend and stuff like that. I think my problem is water consistency. So I'm thinking about taking some art classes for learning how to use watercolor. I think that would be really cool. But the most important thing that I like to conclude with today for sure is community. I personally feel that there's nothing wrong if you just want to color and you don't want to get involved. But I have grown so much in my coloring technique from learning from other people. And let me tell you, there are so many adult coloring groups out there. So there's something for everybody. If you're into, let's say, for example, you like to color medieval coloring books, they have a coloring group for that, I'm sure. Or if you like to color, different types of anime, I'm sure there is a coloring group just for people who are interested in anime. So there is something for everybody. And I think for me, I feel so much better about myself because I'm around people who don't think I'm weird for coloring. they do it too, you know. So it's always good to be around people who love it, you know, who love what well, it's always good to be around people who love what you do and respect what you do. And I think being in a color, like an adult coloring group or a colorism group, like a coloring group, not colorism. I cannot talk today, but a coloring group, it kind of helps form that camaraderie through a common interest, but it also allows you to have friendships maybe with people that you would never even know if it was not for doing this at the end of the day. So thank you so much for checking out today's episode. Oh my gosh. I am so happy. This is coming along better than what I thought. I'm a work in progress. I'm getting there. It's looking good. It's, you know, I'm just taking baby steps. You know, one day at a time. I'll get there. I'll get there. This will get finished. I am going to take a picture, of course, and put it on the Sin TV Now Instagram. And you guys will see this kind of forming and coming to life. So I'm very, very proud of this. And I'm going to be using a combination of water-based markers and Sharpies. So this is going to look awesome. So awesome. I'm very excited. But with that, I'm going to get out of here and actually get some flipping rest, man. But like I always say, remember to get smart, stay informed, and always embrace your inner freak.